Helmy's draft. I like his draft so far. He was actually he didn't show up a couple times. But he was able to pick off his last couple mons after the draft was over, and there were a lot of OU mons that were just left behind, like a ton. There were like, I'm very surprised by the amount of mons that were actually left behind in OU. Like, people could like, there were a lot of good mons that were just like left in the back. I could show you, but then I'll just open up for everybody else. But I mean, they can see it anyway. They'll know what they want once week 4 comes up, because with week 4 they'll be able to trade whatever they want. Yeah, he picked up Urshifu, Rapid Style. He picked up Escadrille, T-Tar, Grimmsnarl, Necrozma, Dragalge, Corsola, Heliolisk, Aromatisse, Stoutland, Thwacky, and Drifblim. So, Urshifu, Rapid Style, it's strong. It's strong. I think it'd be better for Rain, though. I feel like he had better options than Urshifu, Rapid Style. I think he just wanted to get the other Urshifu. I think that's what it was. Like, it's not bad. I just think it's better on Rain, in my opinion. So, I guess I should have picked that up. I guess I should have. But again, these guys, they went right for the broken mons first. So I can't argue with that logic. I can't argue with that logic. But Urshifu, though, it could be whatever it wants to be. It could be banded. It could be a and it could be banded, or it could be like a life orb kind of one. You could even run metronome with it, which will actually boost its surging strike to do even more damage. I think it does. I don't think the range or the damage actually changes, because I know it's still a crit anyway, but I think it's boosted. I think it might be boosted. I think it might get stronger crits, but I could be very wrong. I could be very, very wrong. I don't think the crit chances change, or I mean the crit damage changes, even with the metronome. But still, he does have metronome options in that. So he's got that for him. Same with the other Urshifu. He can run metronome with that too. Since, you know, he doesn't have to be locked into Ordeal Protect, because he could just run through Protect. So yeah. So he's got that for him. But let me actually go to Urshifu. Like, again, I've used the water one a lot, but the water one is just kind of underwhelming compared to the dark one, because it just doesn't get as much like options, I guess. It's not as strong as the dark one, because its utility options are just, or I mean, its coverage options just aren't as good compared to the dark one. Like, again, I've mentioned this several times, but if they both had like dark coverage, like if they both had crunch, they'd actually be a lot better. I mean, Urshifu, the dark one wouldn't really change that much, but this one would actually change a lot with it having dark and water coverage, because dark and water coverage together are so good. They both should have had access to knockoff too. If they both had access to knockoff, ooh, I honestly could see them getting knockoff in the future. Probably like Gen 9, maybe Gen 10. God, I can't believe we're about to get to a Gen 10. Anyways, again, Bandit or Life Orb, I can see that happening. Maybe Choice Scarf as well, but Bandit or Life Orb seems more likely. Drill and Tar, I got to talk about both of them together, because they both pretty much like work together. Drill can be a rocker, it could be Band, it could be Choice Scarf, it could be defensive, it could be Air Balloon. Again, defensive lefties could work too, just to deal with Magearna. It could also deal with yeah, pretty much it could deal with Magearna. It could also wall Raichu, so he's got that for him. So he's got those options as well. Like Drill's gonna be a threat to a lot of teams. Like, again, ground coverage is very good. Ground coverage is very, very good. So if you have a ground type, you're pretty much like set. So yeah. Yeah, like Drill's gonna go off. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be pretty good for him. Tyranitar is nice. Tyranitar is pretty nice. Unfortunately, everybody in the draft has a way to deal with it, so I don't know if it'll be that good. I think it'll still be pretty solid. He can make it banded if he wants to. He can make it like lefties. He could opt to go Dragon Dance, but that would require a lot of setup, which he does have access to in a certain mon. I'm gonna talk about him real soon. But yeah, he has that option, so he can make it like a Dragon Dance kind of T-Tar. He can make it banded. Band might be better for him. And again, like a defensively oriented Tar with rocks could be nice too. Tar has so many options, man. Like, let me show you the moves this mon can use. Like, this mon is so cool. This mon's so cool. This mon doesn't deserve to be UU. But look at all this stuff it can do. Look at all this stuff. Look at this. Look at this. So much stuff. So much it can do, man. That's what makes this mon so fun. Like, it's just crazy how much potential you have with this thing. Like, you could do whatever you want with it and it won't fail. Well, unless you're playing on the ladder, but we're not playing on ladder. We're playing in a draft league, so he has a lot of options in what he could do. He could also make it like a like he has like foul play options, so he could deal with setup. Again, banded. Again, like I said, is probably gonna be his best bet. Again, defensively oriented Tar with like T-Wave could be good for him too. He could run the phasing set with Roar. Like Tar's nice. Tar's a good pick. That's a very good pick. Again, like I said, I don't know how well it's gonna do for him because there's too many mons in this draft that just kind of body it. So we'll just have to wait and see what Helmy can do with it. But that's a good pick for him. To be honest, I probably would have picked Hippowdon if I were him. I probably would have picked Hippowdon. As a better like sand setter for Drill, because again, Drill just works better with Tar, or Drill just works better with Hippo in the current meta anyway. But Tar's still good. It just has like it has so many options, so you can take advantage of that. Grimmsnarl's gonna be a screener, like that's all it does. It just gets up screens, but it does have other options besides screens. Even though it is known for just getting up screens, because that's all it's been doing since this meta started. Except in the beginning of the meta. In the beginning of the meta, a lot of people were trying like bulk up, Sucker Punch, Grimmsnarl. But he could opt to do that still. It does get access to tricks, so he could run like a trick band set. He could do a foul play kind of Grimmsnarl, maybe like more of a utility kind of Grimmsnarl besides just screens. It gets Burning Jealousy. Yo, I did not know this guy had Burning Jealousy. Hold up, yo, that's cool. That's cool. He can punish setup now. Yo, that's actually really good. But he already has taunt anyway, so it already punishes setup. But still, that's very cool. It's very cool. Grimmsnarl could be like mixed as well. It could be like a mixed one, or it could be a physical one. So it does get access to Nasty Plot, so you can run like a Nasty Plot one with Dark Pulse and Dazzling Gleam. Even Burning Jealousy now. So that's pretty dope. Does get access to Focus Blast as well. Does get access to the elemental punches too. So it also gets Draining Kiss, so he has recovery options in that too. He can run like a Swagger set, but I'll actually let Swagger be around. Swagger is actually manageable, because you know its accuracy is pretty bad. But you know, the people can manage around it. I don't think he's actually gonna be like willing to go that route, but that is an option he has. But yeah, some pretty cool stuff here. Some pretty cool stuff that Grimmsnarl can do. Gets body press, but I don't think that'll really help him too much. If it had iron defense, maybe. Yeah, maybe. But bulk up, I guess, could be good enough. But I don't know. I wouldn't really try a body press one. That just seems a little too crazy for me. But yeah, I could honestly just see this being more of a screen setter for him. Again, he has like a lot of setup options too. Not as much as Ed, but he does have setup options in Necrozma, Tar, and Drill, and even Urshifu to some extent. But going to Necrozma is a dangerous beast. This mon will tear apart teams. This mon is good. This is a very good pick for him. Again, the store power set's pretty strong for him. I'm saying that set, like this set, okay, I'm going to tell you the difference between store power on Necrozma than store power on Magearna. With store power on Necrozma, well, I mean, it's stab as well, but you don't really steamroll through teams like Magearna can after like setting up and then just like running through them, and also having the bulk for it too. Like Magearna's a lot bulkier than Necrozma, so it'll be able to just stay and sweep. And also, its recovery options are a lot better than on Necrozma's anyway. That's why I'm actually letting that set not be used on Magearna, because that set is just god awful and just broken as hell. So that's why I'm not letting him use that set. But yeah, Necrozma though, it could be like a Dragon Den set, Sword Sand set. Like this monster's all set up. It's just all set up. So be on the lookout for it. Again, he's gonna be running like some crazy stuff. Again, Calm Mind I could see a lot. Or the Calm Mind Star Power set I could see quite a bit. Weakness Policy is also an option. He can run like Weakness Policy with not agility. I guess. Oh wait, it's a autonomized. He can run like an autonomized agility. I mean, an autonomized witness policy set. You could do that. And again, he could also run like a Dragon set. So he's got several options in setup. So yeah, if Grimmsnarl and the Necrozma are on the same team, then just expect setup. Just expect setup, because it'll most likely happen. But so those are just options he has, and those are very solid options as well. So in terms of like his cores right now, again, he does have a sand core now. He does have a dark and fairy core right now. So he's got that for him. So what he needs now is he's gonna need like ground immunity. He's gonna need a ground immunity, and he's gonna need something to allow him to bring in Urshifu for free and be able to get off some pretty strong attacks for him. Luckily, he brought in Dragology. Now Dragology is a T-Spiker. Also, I forgot Necrozma can be ran defensively too, so he could have a rock or two. So he has two rock setters, or I guess 3 rock setters. Again, if he wants to make Drill like an offensive one, like an offensive lead Drill, with more like an HO build, he could do something like that. But yeah, Necrozma though, it could be a rocker, and it could be like a T-Waver too, so he's got that option. But now with Dragology, he has a Spiker, so he's got T-Spikes now, which is pretty dangerous for some teams, as they don't really have, like a poison type. Or if they don't have a poison type, they're going to have a pretty rough time against it. But yeah, it also is pretty strong in terms of like having its adaptability. So Draco's going to be hitting pretty hard. Sledge Bomb as well, Sledge Wave, Thunderbolt. It does get Flip Turn too, so you could run like a Flip Turn kind of utility, Dragology. Unfortunately, it doesn't get like any kind of recovery, I don't think. I don't think it got any kind of recovery, did it? Let's see. Nope, only rest. So yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention this. T-Tar and well, I don't think anyone else really picked. Yeah, no one else really picked anything else that was banned recently from OU. Or I mean banned from UU. Or not banned from UU, dropped from OU. I think Helmy's the only one that picked one of the drops that went to OU. But the drops like Tar, Aegislash, and King Keldor, those mons, I called them to be OU instead, because I felt like the drop was just too recent, and I just wanted to, again, I felt like they didn't deserve to drop there. So that's why T-Tar's OU for this, in case you guys were wondering. But yeah, Dragology though, it could be like a Specs one, so he's got that option too. So a whole lot of stuff he can do with this mon. His attacks isn't that bad too, so he could make it like a physically offensive one if he wanted to, like with like Gunk Shot to deal with like Clefable, and other fairy types in the meta. Yeah, he could definitely make like a physical one if he wanted, or a mixed one. So those are options he has. Overall, Dragology's a nice pick. I like it. But this does leave him very ground weak though. His team is very, very ground weak. So hopefully we'll be able to mitigate that. He's got Corsola G. So Corsola Galarian form is one of the best tanky mons he could have picked up, especially for Argue right now. So with Corsola G, he'll be able to get up rocks, and he also has a spin blocker. It does have access to strength steps, so he can just weaken a lot of physical attackers and make them pretty much like weak, like just make them weaker. With the Eviolite, this mon is just gonna just take every physical hit. However, though, with Knockoff being back, or Knockoff being around, he's gonna have to play pretty safe with that Corsola. I don't think he'll bring it a lot. I feel like he'll bring it like maybe like once or twice. Just my opinion, I think. I don't think he'll bring it like that often, but it's still pretty good though. He also has it also has access to a Will-O-Wisp as well. But it's kind of one-sided though. It's kind of a one-trick pony. Like it can really only run one set. I guess you can make it like a special one too, a special defensive one, but I don't know. I think he's gonna be more inclined to make it defensively oriented. But yeah, I don't know. It's not that great. I mean, it's not like a bad wall. It's just kind of underwhelming, I feel. But he needed a wall because this team doesn't really have too many walls, so it makes sense why you picked this up. Heliolisk is a good pick for him because it's actually a counter pick to a lot of water types in the metagame that got picked up. A lot of water types in the metagame that got picked up. Yeah. So it's a good mon. It's a very good anti-mon. It could also be a Volt Switch user too. So he has Volt Flip, Volt Flip with Flip Turn and Volt Switch now. So we can do that, which is pretty cool for him. You can make it specs with like thunder, like thunderbolt and such. To again deal with like opposing weather. What else is it, what else can it do? I don't think it can really do much else. Again, dry skin's good for that. So he'll probably be running again more like a dry skin kind of Heliolisk. It gets rock slide. Oh, that could be cool. That'd be pretty cool. It does give rising voltage, so we could take advantage of the electric terrain. So he's got that for him too. So yeah, that's pretty cool for him. Not much else to say about Heliolisk. Oh, it does get surf too, so he has ways to deal with the ground types and rock types too. And he also has grass knot too, so you can deal with like heavy mons. Aromatisse, that's more like a Trick Room user, but it's also a heal bell user too. I think it's access to heal bell or like some kind of way of recovery. So he has a cleric mon for his team, so that's gonna be pretty nice in terms of like having something to deal with his something to deal with burn, or just status in general. And even like if his mons get poisoned, he could just kind of deal with that. He can run like a boots set with it too, to avoid getting hit with hazards. So that could be pretty cool for him. I feel like something like that would be common in RU, like a heavy duty boots Aromatisse, but not too sure. Again, I don't really play RU like that, so that's just a guess. But he has that option. He can make it offensive too with like a spec set if he wants, or like maybe mono Trick Room, because I mean his special attack isn't that bad, so it could definitely like do some stuff with that, especially with Hadgers being up too. He could definitely wear mons down pretty quickly. But I feel like it's gonna be more of a support kind of Aromatisse the way his team is looking. But we'll just have to wait and see. Stoutland, this mon is good. He has another sand rush user. However, Stoutland did get nerfed because return and frustration do not exist right now. So in terms of like normal type coverage he could only really run like takedown, which is like base 90, facade, so he could take burns. He could run retaliate, so that could be pretty good for it. You could definitely see like a banded retaliate team or a banded retaliate Stoutland for him. He could also just make it like defensive and just run like intimidate with it, so he could like just make it more of a defensively oriented Stoutland. So he has that option, so he has intimidate in that. But yeah, not much else to really say about Stoutland. It's not bad. It's just kind of underwhelming with how return and frustration got taken away from it. Yeah, I don't know how he's gonna use that. It'll be cool though. It'll be cool to see how he uses it. Thwacky is one of the new mons that got dropped, or that got brought up here. So Thwacky has access to knockoff, and also it does get Grassy Glide just like its brother Rillaboom. And it also does have Grassy Surge as well. So he has a way to deal with the ground types now. So that's pretty cool for him. However, Thwacky is still pretty weak though. So I don't know if he'll be making it like fully offensive. I don't think it's access to bulk up, does it? I feel like it doesn't get access to bulk up. Let's see. What can you do? No, you don't get access to bulk up. You do get Sword Dance though. So it could, I don't know. It's not bad. But I definitely see it being more of a support kind of Thwacky. So I could see something like that. Drifblim is actually, I think, does it get access to Leech Seed too? If it gets Leech Seed, that could be pretty cool. Oh, it does. Oh, that could be nice. That could be nice for him. Having some way of like Leech Seed recovery could be pretty cool for him. Even though I feel like he could have picked something, more defensively oriented, but I guess he really needed like some way of ground coverage, because his team is very grounded, or is very ground weak, and it also is grounded. So I guess it makes sense. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how he uses it though. Drifblim is gonna take advantage of Grassy Surge, and will be running like a Grassy Sea kind of Drifblim. He can make it defensively oriented too. It is a defogger too, so he has ways of hazard control now. So he has a defogger in that, and he also has a spinner and drill. So he's got two ways of that. But that's pretty much all I see in terms of that. So yeah, not much else to really say about Drifblim, but it's not bad. Yeah, that's pretty much that. So in terms of like how effective his team's gonna be, it's gonna be strong. It's gonna be pretty strong, especially with Sand up. So he can definitely take advantage of that. and again set up with Grimmsnarl too, so he could run like a setup one with Necrozma, or I mean he could run like screens with Necrozma and just go off with that. And again, he does have access. He does have access to Trick Room, so he could run like a Trick Room team with Dragolgi and Aromatisse. Even Tar, if you wanted to run like Bantar and Trick Room, that could be nice. But overall, the team's not bad. The team is not bad at all. It's pretty strong. But compared to the other two, I definitely see Ed's team as being the strongest one so far.